Ladies and gentlemen, according to former President Trump today, and according to a number of other people, including Alan Dershowitz, the details of Trump's indictment, the absurd felonies that need an FEC crime, which didn't take place to even become felonies, this information was leaked and given to various people or an individual before the grand jury, before the indictments were made official. Okay, somebody leaked the information, either from the office of Alvin Bragg or the Manhattan District Attorney himself. Sorry, you can't do that. Yet again, you cannot commit an illegal act trying to take down a person you consider to be a monster, the epitome of criminality. You couldn't find a crime, so they found this crime, okay? You had willing, loyal Democrats in New York trying to go into the federal government or trying to utilize a federal government statute, combine it with a state law, and then fabricate a felony. So two things have to happen, but it's state prosecutors, it's the Manhattan District Attorney that went into the federal realm and domain of Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan slams Fox News. Okay, so hold on. Washington Examiner Jim Jordan says subpoena for Manhattan District Attorney Bragg on the table. Washington Times. Representative Jim Jordan weighs testimony from Manhattan District Attorney. House Committee Chairman CNN doubles down on Manhattan DA oversight efforts. So, you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where Donald Trump is targeted by not the federal government, because the federal government couldn't find anything with January or classified data that classified data issue, the obstruction, they might go after Trump for obstruction, which would be another sad and pathetic attempt at just trying to take him down. It's purely political. They despise him. But they couldn't find. He wasn't a Russian operative, so everything they threw at Trump didn't happen. They're utilizing government, lawyers, attorneys, prosecutors, public relations executives, media. They've thrown everything at tech. They've thrown everything at Trump. It hasn't worked. Politico, the data's clear. The indictment makes Republicans like Trump more. Of course, the entire Republican Party is rallying around Trump. They know that Democrats have found a way not only to use media, because we've known that media was an extension of the Democratic Party, but they found a way to use state and they found a way to use state and the federal government as to interfere in 24. That's what the interesting thing is about all of this. This is the first time in modern American history or perhaps American history, where you have state government utilized as a political tool by a political party. Usually political parties aren't as powerful as a state or the federal government. Now you have the state and federal government as an extension of a political party, going after a leading candidate for the Republicans in 24, who will be nominee. Now it's more certain than ever he'll be nominee. Okay? Because Politico, the data is clear, the indictment makes Republicans like Trump more. But here, Daily Mail, furious Trump demands Alvin Bragg, Manhattan DA, indict himself and resign for leaking details of indictment that include 34 felony counts and no mugshot or handcuffs. Well, okay, the mugshots, by the way, you could better believe the Manhattan DA didn't want the mugshots. But the question now is, why did the information get leaked? Who leaked it? the attorney, the district attorney, will have to testify before Congress. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. Alvin Bragg will have to testify. Other attorneys will have to testify. They went into the federal government's realm. We now have the House Judiciary Committee. They can investigate pretty much anything they want, especially if the DA is relying on a federal crime. Okay? All of this, the prior DA, Cy Vance, Biden's Justice Department, nobody found an actual crime. The FEC itself, nobody found an actual crime. So we have to find, the Jim Jordan or James Comer will find out why they decided to suddenly call this a crime, and then also how the leak and how the information went from a grand jury that's supposed to be secretive to individuals in media. Okay? This is a public relations apparatus, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? This is why you have actors. This is why you have Hollywood so entrenched in politics. Okay? You have a situation where Democrats cannot fall on any policies or achievements. You tell me what achievements that what can they state as an achievement? We have an economy where 6 to 7% inflation is now the new normal. Inflation is going up. It's directly because of Biden's policies. When Biden came in, we had 2% inflation. We're 90 seconds to midnight. We weren't 90 seconds to midnight when Biden came in. So these are Biden's policies, according to the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. You have an invasion that's now over 1 year old in Europe. The world is less safe. Our economy is weaker. So how is it not a moral imperative to have voted for Trump? I don't understand. When people say Trump, he's an absolute menace. Trump never did anything to warrant the vitriol. They say, well, his last year in office, you can name 10 Democrats, including bureaucrats, that said the exact same thing as Trump about you-know-what in his last year in office. Okay, they just blamed Trump. But more people lost their lives with Biden's first year. They didn't blame Biden. The double standard is unbelievable, and now it's just... I keep saying this, like, I hope people don't misinterpret what I'm trying to say, but there's nothing wrong with being an atheist or agnostic. It's actually fine. In many ways, Christopher Hitchens is a big inspiration to me, okay? Although I do believe in God. I love Christopher Hitchens. But if you're an atheist or you're agnostic, great. No problem, all good. But if you replace politics and that's your religion, so if you're like this person that is suddenly interested in politics because Trump defeated Clinton, and you suddenly read the New York Times and Washington Post and the Atlantic after never really having read these publications, you don't realize how media have changed. You don't realize that a person like Christopher Hitchens or Hunter S. Thompson they would never be published today, especially if they went against the Democratic Party, which they did, especially Christopher Hitchens, for example. But your God, if you were like this, if you happen to be a godless individual where social acceptance and just following whatever the new fad or in thing or whatever the popular thing is, wanting to be accepted, wanting desperately to just fit in, thinking that Trump is bad simply because everyone else thinks Trump is bad. Your religion, your God, is just social acceptance. Okay? You've replaced religion, if you're an atheist, with CNN. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Jim Jordan's going to find out how that leak took place. Give me your thoughts. Thank you. I'll be back in a couple of hours.